Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaridhari Gopijana Vallabha Gopijana Vallabha Girivaridhari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Nachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Tira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Nitai Go Haribo Haribo Haribo, Nitai Go, Haribo, 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 Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jayam Vishnupad, Paramamsa, Parivla Jakacharya, Ashtotar, Ashtasi Shimani, Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Shri Prabhupada, Ki Jai, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ki Jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Ki Jai, Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prishtayo Dari, Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami, Namine, Namaste, Razvate Deve, Gauravani, Pachaline, Nirvishesha Shumavani, Pachkatya Vishataline. So I see a majority of English-speaking devotees, and for all the devotees, one guest is more than all of them. Vous parlez anglais? Oui. Ok. Est-ce que quelqu'un ne parle pas anglais? Hare Krishna. Everybody speaks English. So I will speak in French English. My tailor is rich. Okay. So we are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is a book written by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami around 500 years ago. And it is about the life and teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who appeared in Bengal to inaugurate the Sankirtan movement, or the Hare Krishna movement, 500 years ago, as the universal merciful process of chanting the holy name of God, and thus goes through this, as it is said, the ocean of material life, cross this ocean of material life in order to reach the ultimate goal of life, which is to go back home, back to Godhead, for an eternal life of bliss and knowledge. So this is his book, and today we are reading chapter 2 of the Adi Lila and verse 15. Just to situate the verse today, the author started his book with a few verses glorifying Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, Krishna. He is himself Krishna. And then, after those few 4 or 5 verses, he takes each verses one after the other and explains them, so that it is not just a blind acceptance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as being Krishna himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but it is proved both by scriptures, sacred scriptures, revealed scriptures, Veda, and by sadhu, or self-realized saints, servants of God. So these conjunctions makes it more sound to then hear about the life and teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the initiator, inaugurator of the Hare Krishna movement, who is known as universal, chanting, blissful, simple name, all-powerful names of God. So today we are on the description, one of the first verses about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, is God, and as such is the source of all what is said energies or emanations. He is a source of emanations, and thus, as the Upanishad are explaining, is the source of the Brahmajyoti, or the impersonal Brahman effulgence, which is formless, full of eternity, unlimited. And this this aspect of the absolute truth, the origin of everything, is dependent upon the highest understanding of the absolute, which is a person, a transcendental, inconceivable, supreme personality of this Godhead. So there is Brahman, impersonal, which is the rays emanating from the transcendental body of Krishna and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So these verses now are explaining this point. So today, verse 15. Koti koti brahmandeye brahmera vibhuti. Koti koti brahmandeye brahmera vibhuti. Koti koti brahmandeye brahmera vibhuti. Sei Brahma Govinda Derayanga Kanti. Sei Brahma Govinda Deraya Anga Kanti. Koti Koti Brahmandeye Brahmera Vibhuti. Sei Brahma Govinda Deraya Anga Kanti. Koti Koti Brahmandeye Brahmera Vibhuti. Sei Brahma Govinda Deraya Anga Kanti.
Koti Koti Brahmandeye Brahmane Vibhuti.
Koti Koti Brahmandeye Brahmera Vibhuti.
Sei Brahma Govinda Deraya Anga Kanti.
Sei Brahma Govinda Deraya Anga Kanti.
Koti Koti Brahmandeye Brahmera Vibhuti.
Koti Koti Brahmandeye Brahmera Vibhuti.
Sei Brahma Govindera Haya Anga Kanti.
Ai Brahma Govinda Deraya Anga Kanti. Koti Koti Brahmandeye Brahmera Vibhuti. Sei Brahma Govindera Aya Anga Kanti. Ladies. Koti Koti Brahmandeye Brahmera Vibhuti. Koti Koti Brahmandeye Brahmera Vibhuti. Koti, tens of millions. Koti, I don't know. Tens of millions. Brahmande, in universes. Ye, which? Brahmera, of Brahman. Vibhuti, opulences. Say that. Brahma, Brahman. Govindera, of Lord Govinda. Aya, is. Angakanti, bodily effulgence. Translation: the opulences of the impersonal Brahman spread throughout the millions and millions of universes. That Brahman is but the bodily effulgence of Govinda. There is no purport from Srila Prabhupada. So, before reading the next verses and his purport, I like to read the previous verse, which is a quote from the Brahma Samhita, Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanda Koti, same subject. I worship Govinda, the prime of the Lord, who is endowed with great power. The glowing effulgence of his transcendental form is the impersonal Brahman, which is absolute, complete, and unlimited, and which displays the varieties of countless planets with their different opulences in millions and millions of universes. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, the short purport. This verse appears in the Brahma Samhita 540. Each and every one of the countless universes is full of innumerable planets with different constitutions and atmospheres. All these come from the unlimited non-dual Brahman, or complete wool, which exists in absolute knowledge. The origin of that unlimited Brahman effulgence is the transcendental body of Govinda, who is offered respectful obeisances as the original and supreme personality of Godhead. So today, the opulences of this impersonal Brahman spread throughout the millions and millions of universes, and that Brahman is but the bodily effulgence of Govinda. Next verse and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Sei Govinda Bhajyami Tehan Morapati Tanara Prasade Morai Srishti Shakti. I, Brahma, I worship Govinda. He is my Lord. Only by his grace am I empowered to create the universe. So I, Brahma, worship Govinda. No, of course, we should not mistake Brahma and Brahman. Brahman is the transcendental effulgence of the body of Lord Govinda. And Brahma is individual soul, a person, like all the souls who are in this material world, not belonging to the spiritual world yet, is subject also to have a material body, subtle, and birth and death. But because he is almost highly realized, he is entrusted with a very high service in this world, which is to create, or let's say to organize the universe by the grace of God, Krishna. So I, Brahma, worship Govinda. He is my Lord, and only by his grace am I empowered to create this universe. Purport by our Divine Grace, His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Although the sun is situated far away from the other planets, its rays sustain and maintain them all. Indeed, the sun diffuses its heat and light all over the universe. Similarly, the Supreme Sun, Govinda, diffuses his heat and light everywhere in the form of his different potencies. The sun's heat and light are non-different from the sun. In the same way, the unlimited potencies of Govinda are non-different from Govinda himself. Therefore, the all-pervasive Brahman is the all-pervasive Govinda. Bhagavad Gita clearly mentions that the impersonal Brahman is dependent upon Govinda. That is a real conception of absolute knowledge. Om Gyanti Midam Dasya Gyanangala Shalakaya Chakshurani Tamiya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Chaitanya Manobishtam, Stapitam Yena Bhutale, Swayam Rupa Karmayam, Daladisva Padantikam. So, that is a real conception of absolute knowledge. Yes, must be absolute knowledge. Sounds quite absolute. But everything has a source, and the source is absolute for this everything coming from it or him. So there is an absolute source of everything, ultimate, which is the supreme personality of Godhead. And this knowledge is also absolute knowledge. It is not depending upon anything else. It has to be, it can be supported by all his subordinate emanations or potencies, such as our intellectual capacities or our hearing capacities about bona fide source of absolute knowledge, which is a real way to connect and receive and realize what is the absolute, what is this non-dual absolute knowledge beyond doubt, beyond relativity. What is this first verse of the chapter? Krishna says, Asamsaya anyway, Maya Sakta Maya Parta Yoga Maya Sakta Maya Parta Yoga Yunjan Madashvaya Asamsayam Samagram Mam Gyasi Gyasasi Takshrinu. O Arjun, listen now to me. I will give you, said Govinda, Lord Krishna, I will give you in Bhagavad Gita this absolute knowledge from which is not different from me. I will give you this absolute knowledge by which we will have complete knowledge and no more doubt. And this knowledge, we could say, like he explains, Lord Krishna, a little after, Maya tata midam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina. He said, this Maya tatam jagat avyakta murtina. This jagat, this world, material world, this universe, actually is multi-universes. I pervade them all. I am spread everywhere, but still I am not in them, which means I pervade the universes, and I am in the heart of all living entities, but through my potencies. And I, as the person, the absolute original person, the beautiful form of Lord Govinda, I am beyond even that. So, and last verse, supporting this, which Prabhupada mentioned at the end of the purport, Bhagavata clearly mentions that the impersonal Brahman is dependent upon Govinda. What is this? Brahmanoi pratishtaham. Krishna explained. When he says this, you remember in Brahmabhuta prasannatmana sochati nakanshati samasaveshu bhuteshu bhaktim labhate param. He explained that when comes to the level of absolute knowledge, Brahman, realizing that we are not body, this body, that body, black or white, young or old, man or woman, animal or plant or human, like that. We are all the same as spirit soul. When one realizes this spiritual absolute knowledge, which makes all living entities one in quality, then one is ready to reach to the devotion to the Supreme Lord, for whom everybody is his own, everything is his own. So when he says that, Krishna, right after that, he says, yes, and this impersonal Brahman, Brahmanoi pratishtaham, is dependent upon me. This knowledge or this reality of supreme spirit unknown is depending upon me, the supreme personality of this absolute Godhead, spiritual. So this is how Srila Prabhupada and Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, all our acharyas, pure self-realized servants of God, and the Veda, or scriptures in persons of the Vedic version, are giving us, presenting to us the understanding of the absolute personality, absolute knowledge of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Govinda. So this is quite striking things. Of course, here it is not presented as something only striking, the absolute source of everything, the three phases of the absolute knowledge, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. It is presented in this third verse of the explanation by Brahma as, I worship Govinda, is my Lord, is my Lord. There is not only is the Lord, is God, is my Lord. There is a relationship. I have a relationship with me, and is my Lord, my Master. I am His servant. I am, by His grace, only by His grace am I empowered to create the universe. Only by the grace of God can we reach this liberated spiritual platform of Brahma-Bhuta, Prasanatma, that we are not the body, but we are part and parcel of the Supreme Person, Govinda. But for that, we have to have not only the philosophical understanding of this different level of spiritual absolute, but we have to have a personal relationship as servant and master with Krishna or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then it's only not by Nastyeva Gatiranyata. It is not by karma or by selfless material activities. It is not by jnana, by great philosophical speculation from the brain. It is not by yoga, by great endeavor to control the senses and the mind in order to meditate and reach out to the absolute beyond the body. No. Arenam, eva kevalam. Kalo nastyeva gatiranyata. It's only by the grace, the descending grace of the Lord, that we can not only have a clear understanding, complete understanding, samagramam, but also have a sweet and fascinating, attracting relationship with the Supreme Lord. This is the goal of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu coming down to this world. He wants to support, confirm the teachings of the Veda, and also to support and confirm the teachings of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna explains all this scientific philosophy because he is the greatest scientist, and he does want us to apply this philosophy, and in Kali Yuga, Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam. The only way with which you can really have access to this spiritual understanding, apply it, and realize it in a devotional relationship with Govinda is by chanting the transcendental sound vibration of his name, the name of God, who is non-different from him. Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Savigra Nama Namine. No difference between the name and the named, the one who is named. It's absolute. So in this way, we are given by Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. We are given by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by his grace, the supreme mercy of having direct access through humble devotion to the name of Krishna, to the person of Krishna, then his form and his pastimes and his entourage, his planet and everything like that. Harinam, Nastyeva, no other way. Like Brahma is saying here, I worship Govinda. This Govinda, from whom everything emanates, from whom Yasya Prabha Prabhavata Jagadanda Koti, from whom all the universes are emanating, matter is emanating. And he is also Ham Bija Pradapita. He is also the source of all conscious living entities, different energies. Bhumi Laponano Vayu, and there is another type of energy, Jiva Bhuta Mahabhavo. The Jiva, the conscious part and parcel. This is Krishna, and Krishna and our Acharya, our masters, guides, benefactors, well-wishers, they want us to clearly, completely understand that, so we can fully, and without any reservation, we can fully dive into the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. We can fully, without reservation, dive into the reception of the mercy of the Lord, and thus engage in a loving relationship with this person. He is a person. He is not energy. He is energy, non-different, just like heat and sun are non-different from their source, the sun. But although there is simultaneously oneness and difference between the sun and his energy of heat and light, of course, who is the most important? The sun planet. They are simultaneously appearing. It's not like creation or whatever. It is according to the devotees, the acharyas. It is not some illusory creation. It is emanations, potencies, emanations. God is not impotent. Sometimes, okay, let's go down to our own level. Let's say times and culture. God, what is God? Either he is God, an unknown, or some even imagine, or paint, some must be eye in the sky, it must be all, it must be this and that, above, but they don't have any feeling or real understanding of what is the relationship with God and this material world, or the living entity. What's the connection? What's exactly going on between the absolute, good, whole God, perfect, and this imperfect world, this imperfect life we have? They don't know. And another type of incomplete and false feeling about God, absolute, is, well, yes, there must be a link, therefore it's all one. It's all one, God cannot be separated, so it's all one, and ultimately we are all just, no individuality like that. So this is both wrong and detrimental to the goal of life, which is to be liberated from this false conception that is, on one side, we are the body, means we are temporary identity, we related to something which are good, something which are bad, and life, that's only that. No way to go beyond that. So this is terrible resignation to very, to suffering. The body is actually, as soon as we get the body, we got suffering. So those who are a little higher thinker, they say, okay, we are not the body, but they don't go toward Chaitanya Charitamrita or Srila Prabhupada, who is there to teach us that beyond the soul, there is the supreme soul. As Krishna explained, we have the matter, and above matter, the senses, and the mind, and intelligence, then the soul. And above the soul, there is, above Atma, there is Param Atma. So these false conceptions, either God is, God, and what is the consequence of this false conception? No clear idea about, God, relationship toward Him, spiritual world, spiritual activities. Therefore, God is there to serve us. Thank you. Very nice. And not only is there to serve us, because He's very kind, He puts us in this wonderful material nature, and sometimes He comes down and He wants to Himself experience this beautiful material life. He has to, you can hear here and there sometimes He's very, stupid. I mean, it's stupid. It doesn't make sense. He's all perfect source of everything. He's Purnam, and He wants to, like that. So that's the result of this idea of God, unknown idea of absolute. We are the center. Material life is the center. Material enjoyment. What is that? Love, family and life and love. Friendship, love, family, and society, friendship, and love. And God is there to serve this ultimate goal of life: society, humanism, friendship, equality, fraternity, and equality. I repeat what I said sometimes. In this line of the French Declaration of the Droits de l'Homme, human rights, France, Chai. France used to be, the daughter of the church, very pious country. Many great saints, many monks, many monasteries, a church in each villages, and the village was really a village, with a few mud houses. I have some reports about that in Berry, in our department. Few mud houses, one or two stone houses, and a church. What a unity and devotion to God they had at this time to do such an endeavor and put that like that in each villages all over. So France used to be a very pious country and with pious people, but they got into Kali Yuga and they were frustrated by the exploitation of their higher brothers, the priests and the managers, the kings. Priests were not giving out the real knowledge about God. They were staying in the church and not all of them, but more and more. And the kings, not all of them, were just exploiting the honor and opulences they received, normal as manager, but not giving normal life, material life to everybody, and under the direction of the Brahmins, the priests. So anyway, so they make the French Revolution, out of frustration. But when they wrote this Déclaration des droits de l'homme et du citoyen, before saying fraternity and everybody is equal, and this, you can read it in the original one. Under introduction, before, under the auspice of the Supreme Lord. Yes.
Supreme Being.
Supreme Being, yes, Supreme Being. And with his blessings, if you know exactly, you can tell it?
No,
it's not Lord, it's Being. Under the auspice of the Supreme Being and with his well-wishing, like that. We, today, in Serment du Jeu de Paume, what shows, we are presenting the declaration. So, and after they took away this little part, So it's interesting, Okay, Hare Krishna. Because if you, so if you don't have knowledge of this Supreme Being and the real relationship between life here, today, now, and Him, then, your access to Him we remain on the basis of I am unhappy, I am frustrated, please help me, but you will be submerged by your frustration and it becomes anger, and then you cut the head of all these like that. And you become a terrorist. It was called this period terror in France, which is still celebrated as the greatest day of the year, 14th of July. Hare Krishna. But still there is some religious feelings in life. More and more in France, we have new French devotees. Wow, qui? Jai. We are very, maybe inheritor of the past pious culture of France. And in this way, we can relate with all these pious people in the world, including coming from in India. More and more are coming now to the West. More than 300 are coming next Janmashtami here. And like that, we can really have this feeling and this understanding and this realization of our fraternity, equality, and what's the last one? And freedom. Woo! Freedom! Freedom to what? Freedom to enjoy and steal the property of God, or freedom to bring God to us. Come, that's a real thing here. Come down, God. No. Freedom to serve the one whom we want to love. We want to love God. We want to have access to His all eternal knowledge and blissful life in the spiritual world, our real home. But to have access, we need and we want to love Him. We need and we want to love. Life without love, material, spiritual, is boring, incomplete. The main part of life is relationship with others. So for devotee, we want to love God. And therefore, Lord Chaitanya gave us this real understanding. We are all one with Him, and we are all one together, but there is differences. Two differences. One is individuality. We are all one together as living entities, but we are all persons. Wow. Nirvishesh Shunyavadi. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada. Such frightening and stupid, and we're going to all merge together. This, do you want to merge with me? And it's just like, no, we are persons. We are eternal, Mamaevansho Jivaloke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, eternal, individual, spirit souls. That's, oneness of we are. No, this or that. We're all spirit souls, eternal. We will not die. We will live forever, together or not, but all united, another one, with Krishna, with Govinda. And this union is a union of desire. We all have the same desire to act, to live as Krishna. But there is a little difference. The desire will be Krishna's desire, to enjoy. And He wants us to take part in His enjoyment as a servant of His transcendental enjoyment. So this is a oneness and difference with Krishna. We are one with Him. We have the same desire. He wants to. Why does He want to enjoy? Because He's a transcendental autocrat, of course. This is tattva. But as far as rasa or feelings is concerned, He is love. He is love. That means He wants to share. He wants to give out His enjoyment, His blissful nature to others. And of course, He is everything. He is Purnam. So therefore we exist as separated parts and parcel. We are part of Him, so we are not separated. We are part of the Absolute, complete whole, Krishna. And we are also parcel. We are also, a parcel means complete unit. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purna Udashyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate, as the Upanishad philosophically explains so completely, so succinctly, so nicely. Although naturally the complete whole is complete in himself, so many complete units by nature, everything which emanates from the complete must be complete, emanates from him. We are complete. Why? Because we are same nature, spiritual, and we have the Paramatma with us. This relationship is never broken, never finished. We are never disconnected from the complete whole. We are part and parcel of him. And bhakti is never destroyed, never disappeared from our nature. It is covered. Shravanadi Shrudachite Karayodai. By hearing the transcendental, merciful teachings of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and by chanting the holy name, this constitutional nature of the soul to harmonize our desire. The soul is alive as desire. Our desires become united with the desire of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And then we can eternally enjoy the blissful life as servant of Krishna, without any false conception of a material God or material spiritual religious life, without any away from the last snare of Maya, trying to still be the center and be the great center of everything, and we are all merging into one. No. This freedom, the greatest gift of God. Freedom. Everybody likes in France freedom. Everywhere in the world. It's a Kali Yuga. It's a rejection of dependence upon God, dependence upon authority. So actually, freedom is certainly a great aspiration. But freedom means I am free to serve my Lord. I have no more attachment to this false bodily conception of life. I am free from this last snare of Maya, this false ego that I want to be free, but I don't want to be the servant of God. Therefore, I invent some totally irrational philosophy that I am God. And this world, what am I going to do with this world? I did not create it. Of course, I cannot say that. So I will say it doesn't exist. It's false. It's just illusion. No. Everything is real. Brahma Satyam, Jagat Satyam. Mayavadi, they say Brahma Satyam. Yes, there is some absolute, and let's forget all this world. It's Brahma Jagat Mithya. It's false. No. If the source is real, if God exists, this world has some reality, but you have to receive this understanding through the parampara of real, bona fide devotees of the Lord. We have to use this world, matter, in the service of the Lord. And then, even now, not even being gone back to Godhead. Yasya Araldasye Manasa Kanajira Nikalashvapi Adashtasu Jivan Mukta Sauchyate. Jivan Mukta. Even in this world, by engaging, by chanting Hare Krishna, by engaging our tongue to chant the holy name and the glories of Krishna, and by tasting, honoring the prasad, the mercy of the Lord in the form of food, then we become mukti, real mukti, jivan mukti sauchyate, which is to constantly be in love with Krishna and desiring so many desires. How can I give him some satisfaction? How can I serving practically with my senses, with my words, with my eyes, coming to devotion, lovingly and respectfully, with full face, contemplate his lotus feet on the altar, and all these services, clean his temple and his property, and take care of his trees, take care of his cows, of his flowers, of his pipes, of his, everything broken and. I'm a little always focused, I spent so many years watching how Nishingananda would repair at night all the broken pipes of water breaking everywhere, inundating the cave and like that, and no water, and so this is all Krishna and Krishna's energy, and this is a real conception of God, godly life, liberation, freedom, equality, servant of Krishna. He is the source of everything. Brahmanda Brahmitakona is unlimited universes. And only by his grace, Brahma, worship Govinda. He is my Lord. Only by his grace am I empowered to serve him, to create the universe, or to maintain and develop his New Mayapur, Srila Prabhupada's New Mayapur, only by his grace. Only by his grace am I able to maintain my little life as an aspiring devotee like that. Only by his grace. And Krishna is fully united with us in this consciousness. He is very attached to he never forgets any of his children, but he becomes attached to those who wants to again bring him some spiritual energy, some love, Ladini Shakti. Then he's very attentive to each devotee. And Kanteya Pratinami, but never such a aspiring, beautiful, who was conditioned before, and take the rope of the mercy of the parampara. Never I will let him forget me again. May have a little, but he will forever. He's mine now. He's not under the law of karma. Devim Prakritim Ashrita Mahatmanas Tumamparta. He is a Mahatma. He has understood the relationship with me, and he will do his best to develop this in a stable way, more and more deep and lovingly. Therefore, he is mine. He will never go away definitely from devotional service. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his pure servant, Srila Prabhupada, have given us a matchless gift of the holy name of Krishna. We have to chant it as a servant. We have to serve the holy name. Nam Prabhu. We have to serve the holy name. He is there to protect us, to inspire us, to purify us. Therefore, it is authorized. He has told us, yes, now serve me if you want, and chant my holy name. And even if your mind is not fully there, or you're like that, I will be there to receive you and to give you my grace, my pure Cheto Dalpana Marjanam. Therefore, we have to take seriously, sincerely, the chanting of the Maha Mantra Hare Krishna as given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and as given by Srila Prabhupada for all, universal chanting of the holy name, and that will alleviate the suffering of everybody and give peace and joy again in union with the Lord, in service to Him. So this is what we learn, by chanting Hare Krishna and reading Bhagavad Gita and associating with those devotees, practicing that. Therefore, we are every day repeating this spiritual devotional knowledge with gratitude and to Krishna and Prabhupada. Therefore, next Wednesday and Thursday we will manifest this gratitude to Krishna for his appearance day Janmashtami, and next day we will manifest our gratitude to Srila Prabhupada with Vyasa Puja. Jai. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Srila Prabhupada Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Premanandi. Jai. Have a good day.